It's one of those things, man. I've been playing football for so long, and now that I'm done, it's like I don't even miss it. For so long, I heard so many stories about people that would just, talk about how much they wish they could go back when they stopped, and I can't say I miss it too much right now. A big part of that has to do with injuries. Past 3, 4 years didn't necessarily go how I would have liked it to go, but I can't complain. It's definitely got me where I am today. It feels like, of course, I wasn't raised by football. I was raised by my parents, but it feels similar to, a parent raising their kid until they're 18 and then letting them go off into the real world. It's like that's what football did for me, it feels like. It wasn't that parent that gave me millions of dollars and, made life super easy financially. It also wasn't that parent that just, made me feel like I was never good enough. It was that parent that made me work just hard enough for what I wanted. Showed me what hard work was. Showed me that, when you want something, you work for it. And if you don't get it as soon as you want, that does not mean throw a fit and stop working. That means either A, you're not working hard enough, or B, it's just not your time yet. A lot of things I've gotten from football. And, I look at who I am today and I look at the things that I've accomplished since football has been over for me. And there's just so many ways it's put me in the position I'm in. Whether it's responsibility, whether we're talking physical, discipline, how I deal with authority. It's definitely done a lot for me, and I think a lot of those traits and characteristics that I have is 100% from football. And, that's the reason why as I sit here in the studio, I can walk out and see my boss, and if he tells me to go downstairs and grab him something, if I don't think there's a good reason to do it, I'm going to go do it, I could sit here and say, because I know that he's the boss and that's what I must do. It's like, that's not my thought process. It's just like a natural thing. When the guy in charge asks you to do something, you just do it. And some coaches will let you talk back a little bit. If you roll your eyes or something, some coaches may deal with it, but not mine. Not mine. Not my coaches, nor my parents was that something that was accepted. If I'm pissed about something, guess what? Anything that comes out of my mouth better not show it. And body language is just as important. If I would stand up and say, okay, I understand, yes, sir, but I roll my eyes and slouch my shoulders and stomp out the room, guess what? I'm getting called back in. If a football coach asks me to do something and I walk off and show attitude, guess what? He's going to call me back over and he's going to dig and dig and dig and dig just to see, just to fish around. Is there any part of this kid that does not like authority? Is there any part of this kid that feels, I don't have to do that? I know you're in charge, coach. I know you're the one who runs everything. I know you're the one who gives me my opportunities. And you ask me to do that, but I don't want to. I understand your reason, but I don't want to. Coaches search for that. They dig for that. They want you to expose that a little bit. They want you to show that. So guess what they do once you show it? Boom! They snipe it. They snipe it. They get you to expose yourself. and they tell you to go run a lap and until go run until I tell you to stop. Yeah. You think you think because you don't want to? You think because you're tired? You think that's a good enough reason to hesitate? Not only just not do what I ask. Some coaches, if you even hesitate, they want to know why. And they want to make sure you don't hesitate again, because you know what? If you hesitate there because you think there was a reason to hesitate, or you're a little too bullheaded, guess what? In a game situation, when you know you're supposed to do one thing but you don't want to, you're going to hesitate. If you're an offensive lineman and you get in your stance and you know that counting is on 2, quarterback goes, hut! Guy in front of you flinches, you know you're not supposed to move. But he moved a little bit. He threatened you. So you move anyways. Oh, coach, I thought. Yeah, that's the same way you thought you had a good point in practice the other day when you hesitated when I told you to go grab the cones. You know, a big part of growing up is just, a big part of growing up is just realizing that you got to get things done no matter how you feel about it. A coach, you know, you may think he's just a butt because he's being that way, but he knows there's no guarantee that this kid's going to have a nice boss. There's no guarantee that when they go to work, the person who tells them what to do is going to be nice about it if they hesitate, if they don't listen. That's what I think is special about coaches. That's what I think Dallas needs. McCarthy's a great coach, man, but is he that guy that's searching for the discipline issues? Is he that guy that's in practice and every single little mistake he sees, he treats it like you did that in the Super Bowl because he knows that what you see in practice is likely what you're going to get in a game? I don't know if McCarthy's that guy. I don't know if McCarthy, when he sees a pass interference in practice, I don't know if he goes over there and scolds that player. I don't know if McCarthy, when he sees an offsides or a holding penalty or a false start, I don't know if he's scolding the players. I don't know if the players feel nervous. I tell you what, it's not hard to do it. It's not hard to do it. We're talking about high school level stuff here. Younger than high school. We're talking about little kids have coaches. Little league coaches can do these things. You know, they understand this concept. I don't know if McCarthy, it's like he doesn't, you know, he doesn't want to break the cool dad, you know, image. He doesn't want to get mad for the first time. He doesn't want to lose the locker room. Do you ever think he's intimidated by the fact that he's a coach of America's team? You know, that I don't get what it could be. Everyone, when you are getting ready to watch a Cowboy game, you know what to expect. The chances are they will be more talented, more athletic, more abilities, more Pro Bowl players, more penalties, more mistakes. The things that cost the Cowboys are things that can be fixed in practice, man. And that's the most irritating part of being a Cowboy fan. Not only a Cowboy fan, but someone who, granted, was not on the same level as the NFL, but I played enough years and I had been on enough good teams and bad teams to know the difference. It's not like I was a quarterback. It's not like me being a dominant player would have made a bad team great. And I was a right tackle in high school. I was an offensive tackle, 6'4", 230. But that 330-pound bench press was dropping folks. I'm talking I would take 3 kick steps, hit a guy in his chest, and he would just drop like I was Tank Davis. Like I was, you know? Sniper. There's no better feeling as an offensive lineman than hitting your kick step and someone's running at you full speed. And the first time you guys clash and make contact, they just drop. Do you know how hard you have to hit somebody for them to be running at you full speed? And you not only catch all their momentum and lift them off the ground, but you're also backpedaling. As an offensive lineman, more times than not, you're in the process of a backpedal. So I'm backpedaling, planting my heels, and just delivering blows, dropping people. And that was great for my team in high school because we were already a good team. And I tell you what, if you take a good offense and give them a good to great right tackle, I give myself good to great, A-, B+, because, I wasn't the best run blocker. I hated legs and I was 230 pounds. I hated working legs. I got the worst knees and the worst feet probably in New Mexico. I hated working legs. But I'll bench my tail off. I will shoulder press and hang clean my tail off. But to get back on track, I've been on good teams and bad teams. And it's just crazy to see an NFL team have mistakes and do things that I see kids on my level doing. Like that's, I played D2. And, you have those practices where it seems like, there's so many false starts, there's so many penalties, and coach is just pissed, and everyone's nervous on the sideline because they know they're one more mistake away from doing up downs for the next 30 minutes to finish off practice. I've been in those practices, and I've seen coaches who put emphasis on that. And I have never once, ever seen a coach put emphasis on fixing penalties and then the team not improve on fixing penalties. It's not the same as taking a quarterback into a room who's maybe in an interception slump and talk to him and get him out of that funk, and then he goes out and throws more picks. It's not the same thing as a receiver who has a dropping issue. Those are skill-related things. The issues that stop the Cowboys are not skill-related issues. It's being offsides. It's running the wrong route. We're talking about things that coaches say we're gonna be experts at this day one of summer camp. And you got Dallas will be in week 13, or for example, the playoffs. Even worse, the playoffs versus the 49ers in. See, they beat us both the past 2 years. I believe it was 2 years ago when we had 16 penalties. I think it was the most penalties ever in a playoff game. And we still barely lost. And then we got to deal with all these Cowboy haters clowning, talking their trash. And as Cowboy fans, we just sit back and know, man, our team is better than yours. We just don't have the discipline. I kid you not, I could go into the Cowboys practice for 1 week. 1 week. Give me 1 week. I could go in there and I could eliminate 30% of their penalties. And the only reason I don't say higher than 30, it's because they would look at me like, dude, you're 25 years old. And you didn't go to the league either like us. Who are you? We don't have to listen to you. Where's your credibility? Who are you? And they would be correct, but I tell you what, I'd know how to stop them from getting all those dang penalties. Commit a penalty in practice, you lose $5,000 off your game check. Watch what that does. For each penalty, you get fined. Not in a game. We won't put that pressure on you. We won't fine you for game penalties. For every penalty in practice, you get a fine within the team. Not an NFL fine, a team fine, a McCarthy fine. Bet you there's not going to be any more penalties then. But no. McCarthy allows them to just keep on and keep on. He lets them just keep on keeping on. It's all right. I hope and would expect that, there's going to be a leader on that team, in that locker room. Maybe somebody like Gilmore. The Cowboys need leaders. If they're truly going to put themselves in a situation where it's like, this is a team we've got, this is what we're going to deal with, we're sticking with our guys, that's fine. You can do that. Well, not our guys, our coaching staff. It hurts me a lot more when I hear Jerry say he trusts the coaching staff because the players are not the problem. You can watch the Cowboys and see the players aren't the problem. When you watch the Cowboys, you're like, what in the world is their coach thinking? Why isn't he calling a timeout? Please don't get me started on time management. I mean, you got 8-year-olds who just learned how football works. That if you taught them the rules and the concept of what timeout does, they look at the clock sometimes and say, hey, why aren't they calling timeout? Good question, kid. Ask Jerry why McCarthy's not calling a timeout. We need leaders on that team to say, you know what, look, this is how it's going to go. I think it'll be Gilmore. I think Gilmore and Cooks on each side. Mike is growing into that role. They're going to be the guys that say, look, we're not doing this again.